Mustangs, muscle cars. A very warm welcome to you all watching right now. It's Indy time here, oval time, and we are going to steer to the left quite abundantly. First times first though, we have to get underway with qualify, and we will expect to reach speeds of, well, about 380, 400 even. No idea actually. We're gonna just take a look right now. Everybody gets seemingly 2 flying laps, or 2 flying laps it is. And we are going to steer to the left. I'm curious to see who will go out first. Abundantly. First time the track will rubber in more severely, and it's a pretty short lap. We will expect lap times about 22, 23 seconds maybe for pole position. So let's see who is going out first. Felix van Delt is going out. Jorge Cabrita. Let's see. David O'Reilly going out as well. He has proven himself to be a quick guy in the practice. Maybe other people are holding back as well. You never know. So let's see, Jorge Cabrita now on track. A very, well, far of everything but similar pit exit as we are used to see in the Formula 1. I suppose there are a lot of Indy fans in the spectate right now, and you probably think you're a new Kris with your IndyCar loss. That's correct. The first time I'm going to commentate on any IndyCar race. It should be fun watching ovals for a change instead of just normal tracks. Hopefully the yellow flags will stay down a lot, but Kris Cobb is in control of that, and well, I believe you call it a caution, and hopefully the cautions will, well, stay to a minimum, but expect at least a few. I'm wondering if we have a safety car. Do we have a safety car, Kris? We do have a safety car being confirmed.
Yellows are in effect.
Yeah. And when there's a caution, I believe you have a speed limit of some sort. So Jorge Cabrita puts on a 23.804 on the clock, followed by David O'Reilly, who's just 15 thousandths of a second slower, already getting close. But hopefully a lot of these guys are in the zone. And not much room for error when you have 2 flying laps. It's over within a minute. Not about getting the flow here. It shouldn't be as challenging as a circuit, but to keep the right lines and keep the car completely straight, and therefore get a better exit, get a better speed, and get a better lap time. It's going to be a tricky situation for plenty of them. I think we can see some problems during pit stops as well, because it's so much different than in Formula 1. Hopefully these guys have practiced the pit entry and exit. And McQuire at the moment on P1 with a 23.563. It's all relatively close together, although the big names still have to make their appearance on the track. We've got 7 minutes 20 to go. A lot of these guys are just waiting, seeing what the rest is doing. Let's see about George Winter. What can he do? The first of the real settled names, although there were some surprises last time around in Mid-Ohio, where we saw Gomez doing a fantastic job as the newcomer in FSR. And Hunter is doing that right now. Let's see, George puts himself onto P5. I see that was just the first lap. I'm sure he can do a better job in a second. Takes up a lot of speed on the straight. 367 here. 350 through the corner. Let's see what he can do here. Ooh, he puts himself onto P3. It's a reasonable time there. Let's go and switch over to Cuba Brzezinski. Definitely a contender for the Winter Series championship here. Although he doesn't gets it on the silver platter. I mean, there are still other drivers here that have the same reputation, such as Jeroen, for example. Let's see what Cuba does. Only in his first lap. But wow, he is up there. P3 for the time being. He just needs 50 thousandths of a second in order to get that P1. Would be a marvelous achievement for Adam McGuire and Cabrita if they can beat the settled name, so to speak, but maybe they have a little bit more experience with ovals. And Cuba puts himself on P1, there he goes. 23.511. So I suppose a 22-second time is an impossibility. Nevertheless, it's always better than the 32 seconds of Theodorus as he go glue or whatever. Still, there are a lot of guys that have to make their appearance on the track, not the least of names. Cuba Brzezinski did a fantastic job putting his car onto P1 for the time being. I'm actually wondering, do we have a Q2 or something, Kris? No, we don't have a Q2, so this is it. Probably a lot of laughs there at home with you all, but I have absolutely no idea how the qualification system works in IndyCar. So 4 minutes 30 on the clock. Still 8 drivers to make their first appearance. David Cook going to have a go right now. I think we can go on board with Fabian. We already weren't. Let's see what he can do. Definitely not the least of names in Mid-Ohio, so not himself into P9 now, but it's also close. The gap between P1 and P9 is, or P10 is 4 tenths. Fabian giving it everything he's got, but will it be enough for improvement? Yes, it is. P7.
On board with David.
Now on board with David. He has some nice kph going there. Faster than Cuba on the straight. He has it made with 1 or 2 kph. Still faster. Let's see how his cornering speed will be. He puts himself into P4. That's nice. Only a blink of an eye keeping him separated from P1. He still got one more chance to make it work. Cuba put it himself into P3, P4 in his first lap as well. But if David can improve, he can. Yeah, he did improve, but he is 15 thousandths of a second slower than Cuba Brzezinski. Basically, an unmeasurable amount of difference. Maybe the tip of your front rear wing, of our front wing, what the hell? Front wing, but. Yeah, he did not do it though, but P2 definitely a good achievement. Pedro Gomez puts himself onto P5. He can certainly be happy with that, but we still have a lot of people to go. Jeroen Simmon's making his way out on track. Marek Godek, also a one-lap wonder. This would definitely be a good circumstance for him to show us what he got, what he has. On board with Pedro. So now the rest is following. We only have 1:45 on the clock remaining. These guys waited until the absolute last bit to make their laps. Hopefully for them they have a little bit of extra track temperature or anything above. Let's go on board with Jeroen Simons. I'm really curious what he can do. Just started his first flying lap. And he will definitely aim for a top 3 position, but we don't know how fast these guys can go. Pedro Mora puts himself on a P12. Only 2.5 tenths of P1, but yeah, the difference has to be there, and the gaps are tightly packed together. Journey Simmons puts himself in P9. There's a little bit too much of a gap that we would rather see, but Kodak P11. Pedro Mora now puts himself into P3. Great achievement from him. Simmons is crossing the start-finish line about now, and he puts himself into P8. A little bit disappointing for a guy like that, but maybe he isn't a big fan of ovals. I have no idea. Kodak puts himself into P7, so a lot of these new guys beating the well, higher order drivers in WC, even race winners in Pro and Ace. Definitely a nice job from Cuba catching pole position here. And a lot of these guys can be disappointed, a lot of these guys can be happy as well. But for now it's time for, I believe, the warm-up. Do we have a warm-up, Kris? We do have a warm-up, and it's 10 minutes long, I suppose. With commercials. Oh, we don't even have a commercial for Trustmaster. Well, I'm not the best commercial guy here, but buy Trustmaster products. Oh, horrible thing to say. Right. Anyway, let's see what we can expect in the warm-up session here. Hopefully the pings will stay okay, but I'm really curious to see the rolling start. I believe we have a rolling start here, right? Behind the safety car, and it will go in. So yeah, let's see if chaos will unfold. Let's see how many laps it takes before we get the first caution or the yellow flag. Yeah, I'm having high hopes for these guys. And you should be optimistic, definitely in IndyCar. So warm up, 9.5 minutes long. My advice is to get some refreshments or anything above. Just enjoy the racing for the time being. I hope these guys can keep it clean and together, but there are always incidents lurking, egos colliding, definitely in racing. But the only thing I don't get in real IndyCar, and that's an effect here as well, I mean, the walls are so dangerous to drive in. I mean, the fences, I mean, it's just insane with those amounts of speed. You should admire IndyCar drivers for their bravery, but you know, to me, I mean, Formula 1 will always be the highest standard of motorcar racing, but they just have to implement the V8s back again, or a V10. Yeah. And Kris Cobb is just saying, let's just put in Corvette engines or Mustangs. But yeah. I can't blame him. You know, what's any American without a muscle car? Kris couldn't agree more, he just said. If we can go on board with Pedro Mora, he is constantly almost bump drafting. With his, I think, teammate. And Kris Cobb just told me that Pedro Mora did a really great job in our GP2 division. It's called GPVWC. They were happy to have Pedro, and he was very good in the oval sections. So nice going there from him. So we can expect a little bit from him in terms of pace. Already on top of his qualified time, and I suppose he's going to drive with a little bit of more meters than he had in, or gallons, so to speak, right, Kris? Than in qualifying. But I don't know how much fuel these cars can handle. Let's see here. 70 liters is the maximum, and R factor tells me that's good enough for 62 laps. Well, that could be. I mean, if you burn 1 liter every, what, 2 miles or something, well, fair enough. I don't know, how long is this oval, Kris, do you know? 1.5 miles. So that is like 2.5 kilometers. Yeah, just under 2.5 kilometers. Yet again, the first lap times are piling in now, and it's still as close as it was in qualifying. It's really remarkable to see that Pedro Mora does a 23.5 in P1, and Beres van Delft in P17 is doing a 24.1. So only 6/10 and in between 17 places. And Theodorus is getting himself into the 24 seconds, which is good. Otherwise he would be way too slow. And it's nice to see that Ryan Wessey, who was a little bit of a screw up in mid-Ohio, managed to get his pace sorted out again. And I'm not being harsh there. I mean, if he was happy with his performance, it would be more remarkable. But yeah, let's see. I mean, I don't want to see any dangers on the track like we had in mid-Ohio the first couple of laps, where people were just stationary in the middle of the road. That's definitely not something you want to see. So the order has changed a little bit compared to the qualified sessions. These guys are driving much faster than the qualified, but I do think that's a matter of track conditions that have improved. They have way more leaders than a qualifier. So 4 minutes 30 to go in this warm-up session. If you haven't had your toilet break, if you haven't had your refreshments yet, go get them now before the surface is opening its doors. And let's see if the first lap will be clean, safe and sound. Hopefully it will be. I mean, we could basically red flag when we started. I mean, it's a series, but that's not something you would want. But I remember Germany with Ace last year, where we had 10 drivers after the first lap who were still in competition. We had a marvelous 9 or 10 retirements on the first lap. That turned out to be a pretty boring race and a little bit dull. Maybe not for the drivers itself, but for in the spectating aspect definitely. But of course it's not as bad as the US Grand Prix in 2005, where we only had 2 Ferraris and a Jordan, or 2 Jordans and 2 Minardis. Where Thiago Monteiro got his Formula 1 podium with Michael Schumacher looking at him like, dude, you shouldn't be that happy in this race, but fair enough. Field day for the Minardis, of course, getting those points. But that was some race. I mean, a fully packed Indy Stadium, and you just have 6 Formula 1 cars on the grid because of a stupid tire issue. Kris just said that it ruined the Formula 1 in the US for a while. Yeah, well, it was definitely a scenario that nobody wants to see, but yeah. Awkward things happen. I remember the Grand Prix of the Nürburgring, or Nürburgring in 1998 or 1999, where the lights didn't go out. there's a sequence with the lights. When they reach the 5 lights, they go out in between 1 and 5 seconds, I believe, 1 or 4 seconds. But they didn't went out after 5 seconds, and multiple drivers made a false start, but the start was completely abandoned and restarted. It was a unique situation as well, where the lights just didn't went off. And as some drivers know, if you are starting and you completely calculate the 4 seconds, your feeling just takes over and you release your launch control button purely for the fact that it has to go up. But when it doesn't, it creates an awkward situation. Let's see, we're making ourselves ready for the start of this Grand Prix, of this IndyCar race in Charlotte. It's going to be interesting to see what we will eventually see in this oval. I just hope that these guys can keep it clean and we see some nice overtaking. There's one thing we won't see, and that's drivers steering to the right. So David proven to be the fastest guy in the warm-up for the time being with 30 seconds to go. Nice achievement from him. He definitely put on some laps in the warm-up. But I think people like Kweekel Brzezinski are holding back a little bit, and it's just 2 tenths as well. Because the entire pack, if we only count the top 20, are within 5 tenths of a second. So. So, and I would suggest that we go onwards to the race. And we are. The pace car will be, will not be driven by Ron Spire this time. She got fired. And whilst Jeroen is asking everybody, please don't crash. And keep it safe and sound the first couple of laps. There are 200 on the board. Sounds like a high number, but it will be over in I think about 40 minutes, 45 or something. So there we go. Kweekel Brzezinski gonna lead the pack, whilst the Corvette the Corvette safety car picks up a bollard with him. That's really nice. So I hear a lot of sounds, but fortunately nothing is happening. Everybody is in the pack, trying to get their space until the... So David O'Reilly is off the track though. What the hell's going on with him? He decides to call it quits or something. What the... Wants to start from the pit maybe. Awkward decision, but yeah, whatever. The race is still going underway, and hopefully for him he won't get a lap down. Kweekel Brzezinski into the zone here. He can control the pace right now. And there he goes. We are underway and instantly crashes in the back. Let's not focus on that for the moment. Kure Brzezinski made a good start. David Cook in second place. Pedro Mara still in third. Brita in fourth, but it looks like that's about to change. He is well behind his teammate in a nice tow. He's getting past now. Immense action here on the straight. Hopefully these guys can keep it together, but oh, there's a massive crash. Marigoda gets collected. Immense accident. That was all George Winter's fault there. And more drivers are going off. Jeroen has parked his car into the grass, but manages to get it going again. Instantly pit stops here because of that massive incident. So, and we have a crash again. It's Jorge Cabrita with Adam McQuire. This is not going well. I'm thinking about maybe a restart here. And it's Michi Hoyer here. I mean, this should be almost red flag basically. Michi Hoyer is completely done for onto the debris. Jeroen Simicic gets spinned off again. James Sattler is into the wall. We have 5 guys into the pit. Ryan Wessey is biting dust in the grass. This is almost hilarious. I don't think there's a yellow at the moment. Well, people are still driving full throttle. Pedro Mora has spun now. We're not gonna make it 200 laps here. This is insane. While Kure Brzezinski is still in the zone with David Cook. There's a lot of debris on the track. Ooh. David Cook almost collecting it there. So maybe the yellow flags aren't working as they should. And David O'Reilly catching the debris right under his tail. Tries to get overtaken by Eugene from Longenburg here. Felix van Delft is in P3, but he is behind the back marker already. But what a hellish start of a race, I have to say. So many people into the pit, almost stationary. There are people sideways standing onto the track. Now there are even crashes in the pit lane. It's absolutely getting ridiculous now. But on the front of the pack, it seems like nothing is happening. Felix van Delft should be really happy with his P3 for the time being. He managed to avoid everything. We have a nice battle on our hands with Kure Brzezinski and David Cook. Let's see what Captain Cook can do. And just getting a message from Kris to restart. It wouldn't be the worst idea, I think. There are a lot of guys who are proposing threats on the track. We are only in lap 8 and basically there are so many people with damage. Pedro Gomez is driving behind a lap car who is smoking and smoking. Well, if you are restarting the race, Kris, I mean, you have 4 or 5 guys that are extremely unhappy and 17 guys that are extremely happy. But the question is, will it be improved during the next restart? I mean, chaos can occur in like any corner, especially if these guys are so close together and it's so bumpy. And it seems that we have a restart on our hands. Let the raging begin in the track. So, seems like we are on the way for a restart once again, like in 2 or 3 minutes. Kure Brzezinski told us he has to go to the toilet as well. But yeah, maybe that's for the best as well. I mean, there were so many guys with damage and only 3 or 4 cars were unable to avoid any of that. So yeah, very compromising for a lot of drivers. So maybe it was wise of David O'Reilly to just start from the pit lane. Nevertheless, he didn't get to avoid all the damages, but I do think it's important to get on their way ASAP. I feel really sorry for Felix van Delft, did a remarkable job with getting into P3, but unfortunately for him there was a restart. But I think it's worth for the rest of us, and also in a spectating point of view. It's just not fun if only 4 or 5 cars are able to compete with each other, and you know, I mean, accidents will happen, but you know, if there's only a few, we can all live with that. So what can we expect in terms of when to start, Kris? 1-2 minutes? Just need to reset the grid, and that's that. Hopefully we can have a little bit of a safer start here, and hopefully these guys are realizing that the race is 200 laps long. And I'm not saying here that they shouldn't overtake each other when they see a gap, but if they're all gonna overtake each other in the same lap besides each other, then you know it's waiting for incidents there. I'm getting a little bit of a more respect than I ever had for IndyCar drivers in an oval. I mean, you don't want to get into the fences. We all know what happened a few years ago. Good racing stays dangerous, and that's also attractive of racing with danger. But nobody wants to see incidents at the end of the day. Hopefully the grid is about to form again. We can get this party started again. How about it, Kris? You are getting there. Just waiting for the grid to form here. Come on, Kris, chop chop. Well, let's get this party going again. Oh my god. Ryan Wesley going completely retarded there. Okay, thanks a lot for your patience if you're still watching. I mean, I really don't know what to say at the moment after the things we just admire, or we just have seen. Hopefully the yellows are working now. Are they, Kris? He doesn't think so. So hopefully these guys won't give us material to well, pray for yellows, but yeah, at least we are going on the way again. So let's see, hopefully everybody can get away from his spot safe and sound and keep it composed and together at the first lap. I mean, it seems like easy peasy for these drivers, but sometimes there's one guy messing up. And you know, Michael Schumacher once crashed into a Minardi on the warm-up lap, on the formation lap, so anything can happen to anyone. Just not Max Verstappen, he's perfect. Bite me. So, seems like everybody is keeping it composed and together. See that Brzezinski leading the pack once more. He has to deal with David Cook right alongside him, but also Pedro Mara right behind him. Let's see. I just pray for these guys that they can keep it together. No incidents will form like it did last time around. This car slightly pulling onto the inside. That means that Cuba is going to floor it. And let's see. He is underway. There we go. Come on, guys. Keep it clean and tidy. It's for made just for a couple of laps. Cuba is going really nice. No major incidents for the time being. This is great. Pedro Mara is in P2 at the moment. David Cook got overtaken there and instantly gets under pressure. But there's Corbita flying into the barriers. And hopefully he can keep it straight, so he is the only victim there. It seems the case. And another incident there. George Winter in between the sandwich. At least a lot of guys are keeping it together this time around. Oh, and there is the commentator curve. There we go. There we go. That's instantly 10 cars gone. Oh, this is undoable. Still 10 drivers on the lead lap here. I feel so bad for Felix van Delft. I mean, he was in P3 after the first restart. Now he is a DNF. And there we have another incident with a back marker for Brita. Pedro Mara now getting under pressure by David Cook. David Cook on the outside, Mara on the inside. Hopefully they give each other just enough space to let each other live. And they do that brilliantly. Pedro Gomez now right alongside David Cook and taking that position away from him. Cook has a little bit of trouble hanging on to there. Loses 2 places in the matter of corners. Steady battle now going on between Pedro Gomez in P4, Cook in P3 and Mora in P2. On board with Cameron Roger Diaz. Has to find a way past Marek Godek. Maybe he can do it here. He's definitely on the side, on the inside. Will he get enough space? We're side by side here. Still side by side. Godek has to know, and he can clearly see him in his rearview mirror. But because Cameron is on the inside, he will take that place. Brilliant driving. That's what we want to see. There's a car stationary in the middle of the road. It's Ryan Wessey. Please land this guy. Seriously. Ken Hunter is in the middle of the track as well, stationary with a shutdown engine. Still moving along the steering wheel. So David Cook now in P2, fighting with Mora for P3. Sorry, Cook is in P3 and fighting with Mora in P2. Mora has trouble catching on to Kuba Brzezinski. He's well behind him. Can't get a decent draft, maybe just slightly. Already so many retirements. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 retirements in the first 6 laps. That leaves us with 12 drivers. So Pedro Maura now much closer to Kuba Brzezinski than he was a lap ago. And he found some extra life. A little bit of power in his engine. And hopefully Jeroen can join that pack as well. He's driving in P5 at the moment, just under half a second behind these guys. The 360 kph, half a second is quite a gap. If we will see the battle we are hoping for. I'm just feeling so sorry for Felix van Delft that he is not alongside these guys. He did such a fantastic job avoiding all the incidents earlier on. There's a left car. Hopefully he does. Ooh, and it causes massive confusion amongst these drivers. Pedro Maura is into the wall. Jeroen Simmons gets collected. The retard alert is going out once more. And I want to know who that guy was. I believe it was Marek Godek. It was Marek Godek. Marek Godek causing that incident completely by himself, being a lapped car. Absolutely insane. So that's 2 front runners gone in a blink of an eye by a back marker, and he now has left the race. I don't think we're gonna make it to 200 laps, Kris. And he is laughing his valve off. We now. Yeah, he just mentions that it is frustrating that the safety car won't work well. Maybe it's an advantage as well. Otherwise, we would have 100 laps behind the safety car at 50 kph. Or, But at least there are still 7 guys on the lead lap. make that 6 in a couple of seconds. Because Cuba Brzezinski is going to try to overtake Theodoros, who is a backmarker who is doing a good job at getting out of the way. Still has Coop and Gomez and Michi Hoyer to get top 11 faster. There's no good Coop, he's going out of the way, but I see Coop is nervous, and why shouldn't he be? He goes safe and sound for the time being. Ooh, and there's a back marker again, crashing the leaders. Holy shit, who was that? It was Eugene from Longenburg. Ah, that is just insane. Eugene from Longenburg crashing David Cook and Pedro Gomez. So we have 4 cars on the lead lap now. I think I'm done commentating in like 20 laps. That's a surprise, but yeah. This is absolutely insane. Michi Hoyer is in P2 now, but you just wait until he tries to overtake a back marker. There is a back marker right in front of him, swirling along the way, just to get outside of his harm's way. Only 4 guys on the lead lap now. This is getting absolutely ridiculous. The only guy who's having the time of his life should be Cuba Brzezinski, leading both races, but in what fashion? I mean, the way that David Cook and Pedro Gomez got collected, it was just absolutely insane. This is turning like a mini Le Mans series now. We have 200 laps. You know, getting your car to the finish should be the only objective here, because it's a sheer impossibility. There's a massive incident again, and it's David O'Reilly and Cameron Roger indeed into the barriers. I missed it completely there, but okay, so that means we only have 2 drivers on the lead lap. There we go, Kris. Oh, I mean, the English would have said great banter, mate, great banter. This is great banter. So, we started this race with 18 drivers. We only have a few in competition. Jorge Cabrita is still driving, but he is 14 laps down out of 26. It's absolutely insane. Journey Simmons is driving again, 9 laps down. Pedro Gomez 6 laps down. Marius van Wijk 2 laps down. So if those back markers are really smart, they only have to crash Cuba and Michi to get, you know, their laps undone. Maybe a good idea. What about you, Kris? Does that sound like a good idea? This Cuba Brzezinski made his way past the back marker. He's not out of the woods yet. Who's that back marker then? It's Pedro Gomez. Fast guy. He fancies a battle, but the only problem is he's 7 laps down. in Cuba, so not really allowed to fight him. In a race like this, you would say to hell with the consequences. I mean, it's absolutely absurd. But we're going getting really close to the leader of this race. And even Cuba Brzezinski now writing in the chat. I mean, the chat has just gone public and everyone is just talking. But even the leader of the race, Cuba Brzezinski, is saying just abandon this joke. I don't think he will have any fun in driving in circles for the upcoming 50 minutes. But at least Michi Hoyer wants to still compete with his German dignity. Are we offline? Well, seems like it's not going as planned. I mean, the oval was a great idea, but unfortunately it's not backing out well. Maybe some ping issues are just colliding too heavily when you're going 360, 370 kph. Of course, not everyone is driving like a Maldonado today, but or has driven like a Maldonado today. But it seems like some of these guys are not ready, and it's just insane to see two drivers on the lead lap after 20 laps, and basically 12 guys out of contention. So yeah, we're gonna call it a day for the broadcast. I don't know if Cuba and Michi are gonna still drive their laps and their circles, but hopefully the Winter Series will deliver a better form of circuits, because this is like you said, Kris, earlier on today, there's a first time for everything, and it seems like this is a horrible fail as well. In 2 weeks we will drive on the Road of America, which is a proper circuit with proper racing, so give us another chance there to create a nice spectacle in the Sunday afternoon, because you know the stakes are high and there are fast guys, and I'm sure we will have a great time back then instead of here on Mountain Peak. So have a great evening for tonight, and thanks for tuning in anyway, and we hope to see you in 2 weeks time. Take care, bye bye.